Hello my friends, hello everybody, welcome and thank you. This is Gosha from Cosmic Agency, and today I'm going to have a very interesting and very exciting chat video with you, which we did with Rashell. Yes, this is going to be the conversation that I had with Robert, with Rashell. Now, I'm gonna have to explain to you who Rashell is. Okay, so as you know, except for, apart from Svaru, there are a lot of Taygetan people up there in the orbit and beyond that. And Rashell, you would say, is a type of an ambassador between Taygeta and the Federation, between Taygeta and other races, and also kind of Taygetan Federation ambassador for the Earth. She will explain that. She has been here since 1952. She's the one that has been here the longest, so she knows our affairs. She was here during the times of the war. Yes, and you understand why, even though I just said that she came in 1952. And she is the one, attention, I know it's hard to believe, but if we assume that they are who they say they are, and we of course do, so this is just incredible. She's the one that has talked to President Eisenhower. Yes. And now in this video I'm going to explain, well, I'm not going to explain, Rashell will explain how they were involved with Vril Society and who Maria Orsic is. Yes, she will explain the link between them and the Vril Society. Okay, I'm going to make it, I'm going to speed it up a little bit. I will just tell you that it's basically them. They have participated in this project. It was their project. They traveled back in time. It will be explained in the video. I'm just going to give you like a short summary so you know what this is about. Vril Society was a secret occult, well, not so maybe secret, but occult esoteric society in Nazi Germany. And Maria Orsic was the German, so they said, lady who claimed to have extraterrestrial communication with the beings that supposedly are from Aldebaran. So she founded this society. She was the leader of the Vril Society, in whose members, and you can find this online, this is not Rashell's information, this is general knowledge, whose members were young and attractive women, yes, young and attractive, mysterious women with very, very long hair, and they had this hair to maintain their telepathic communication as antennas. And they were providing Germans interesting information. The Germans were very interested, were passionate about being the best at everything, especially technologically. So once they found out about Maria and about the contact she had with those extraterrestrials and about the information that she was providing, they got very interested. So she was, from what I think, providing them with a lot of information. She was also giving them the technology how to construct the ships. But now they were not, the ladies were not cooperating with the German Nazis. They were not actually aiding them with anything. That's another maybe distortion of what has happened, and Rashell will explain that too. What happened was that they planned to alter, to influence some events within the German Nazi society so they don't continue with their nuclear weapon developments. And in some way they were successful. So it will be explained in the video. What's really interesting is that in 1945, Maria Orsic and other members of the society mysteriously disappeared. And you can see it in the Wikipedia, it just says disappeared. They just disappeared, their bodies were never found, and just there was one note that Maria left, and that note said, "No one stays here," or "No one is here." And that's all, no one has ever heard from them ever since. They mysteriously appeared and they mysteriously disappeared. So now you'll see in this video what happened and who they really were. And now, if this is real, let's assume, I know there are some people who may not believe this communication, who may not believe our source. It's okay, but now let's take this for a second. Let's pause for a second. If they really are who they say they are, and they are the ones who are the members of the Vril Society, they are the ones who talked to President Eisenhower, then the magnitude of this information and of this contact and of this information is just huge. I get shivers just thinking about this, because sometimes I maybe forget about it and then I sit down and I make myself realize, wait a second, what's happening? Who am I? Who have I just spoken to? Are they for real? Is this really what has happened? Is this really who they say they are? It's amazing, it's crazy, but you'll see everything is very coherent, everything makes sense. This is real, I truly believe it. Everything just falls into place listening to these messages, not only from Svaru, but now also from Rashell. So I'm going to leave you with a video, no further comments from me. This is going to be part 1, and in the second part of this video of chats with Rashell, she will explain her encounter with the President Eisenhower and what happened. And in her words, this is the first time she has been explaining publicly to the world what has happened. I'm just relating what she said. So I'm going to leave you with a video. Enjoy it, and until next time, bye.
Before continuing, I must tell you that I do not have detailed information about the Earth from the surface perspective that Svaru does, nor do I speak so many languages, nor do I have the same expanded perspective of the astral world that she does, but I do have my own experience, and I am open to what you need and do not need. My present crew is not qualified. They do not speak any language, or few do. It is not the focus or the purpose of this specific ship. Svaru told us that you were her mentor. She spoke very well of you. Yes, I've been her teacher and instructor, but now I am her student. And another thing that I want to clarify. Svaru has said that she does not represent Taygeta, much less the Federation, and that she only represents herself. With me, it is the opposite. I officially represent Taygeta here as a member of the High Council of Taygeta, and also as a representative of Taygeta before the Federation. I also represented here. It's exactly my job and my role here. You can interpret my position here with human terminology as an ambassador. Ambassador between the race and civilization of Taygeta and the other races present here. Also, ambassador between Taygeta and Earth. The videos that people are uploading with requests for assistance to the Federation and benevolent races, is that useful? Svaru said that yes, a lot. They take them into account? It helps a lot, because it's not only the Federation that listens. Also, the other positive groups such as the Sphere Alliance, the Council of 5, Council of 9, among others. What is the Council of 5 and 9? That is new for me. I thought there were only 2 factions, Federation and Spheres. Oh no, there are so many factions that it's impossible to understand. It's just enough to know if they are positive or not. That is known only by their frequency. Those 2 that you mention are the biggest, but there are more. In all this, do the Earth Agarthians have any role? Agartha is officially part of the Federation. What happens with them is that they have so many problems as a race that they no longer work as members. They are part of the problem to be solved on Earth. I understand, Rashell. And do you like this post? It has to be quite difficult. Yes, it's a demanding position. Quite frustrating many times because the interaction between different races is very complicated. Just because they are positive races doesn't mean that they always get along well, because there are confusions. The most recurrent one is between races called cold and logical and emotional, temperamental ones. It is a diplomatic nightmare. I understand. Rashell, taking advantage of the time you are here with us now, in what year did you come exactly as Taygetans? In 1952, yes? And why? What has caused your arrival that year? And were you present on that expedition already? I arrived to the orbit of Earth in the year of 1952 as part of the first expedition of Taygeta, as a reaction to the atomic tests and the campaign of Federation and its friends' ships being shot down in those years and earlier. I was part of the crew of the first big ship here as a counselor. It was my first expedition to Earth, but I had experience elsewhere. Ships being shot down? Can you say something more about that, please? The two ships of Roswell and Aztec are publicized, but during the 40s to the 70s, about 40 ships of diverse origins were shot down, none of Taygeta. Who shot them down? The ships, like the two of Roswell, were shot down with the use of directed microwaves coming from the military radars. This fully on purpose. The microwave energy interferes with the sensors of some ships, blinding their computers. It does not allow them to know the exact frequency of the gravitational flow in which the ship is located, causing errors with gravity cancellation systems, resulting in crashes. Those ships were mostly shot down by the Americans and their allies, but also by the Russians later. There are many casualties of extraterrestrial beings in these ships. The purpose was to recover ET technology, right? It's correct. But those ET ships weren't prepared for this and didn't have protection systems so that it would not happen? Didn't they have some sort of alert system? Now they do, but back then they did not have it, or not all races. Taygeta, yes, we had it. But the ships of Taygeta, unlike those used by many other races, have multiple modes or propulsion systems. If one fails, the others come in. The two ships of Zeta Reticuli shot down in Roswell, for example, only operated with propulsion of manipulation and cancellation of gravity. You said they were Russians and Americans who shot them down, but they were Russians and Americans in the sense that it was the Cabal, the reptiles, or pure humans? It's Cabal, and it also operated from Russia. The Cold War was fabricated. They controlled both sides. You want to say that those ETs thought that on Earth we were all saints? No saints, no way. Rather, they thought the humans were more primitive, technologically speaking. Zeta Reticuli, wow. From what I understand, they are the beings that lost their connection with the Source and had some evil plan for the humans. I have read it somewhere. I am afraid it's not true. In any case, it would refer to the grace of ARIEN, not the Reticuli. And everyone has a connection with the Source. The Source understands both the positive and the negative, because it does not judge, it just is. Judging is only property of incarnated beings with limited points of attention. This, the words of Svaru. Zeta Reticuli are small positive grays that many call gardeners. Zeta Reticuli are the gardeners then, just to clarify. Among other places, yes, mostly Zeta. Oriens are negative. Zeta Reticuli are the positive gardeners whose mission is to take care of the biology of a planet or planets. Gardeners, everyone is positive. It can be said that they work for the source. Only nowadays, Orion has already changed a lot and they are very positive now. But that transition excludes the Greys. They are called Maitre and are known as tall Greys. It is believed that they were the biological creation of the Orion reptiles. I must also say that there are at least 165 different races or types of Greys. The Maitre are in Mars. Right, they have dominated 1/3 of Mars, and they are on Earth in the bases underground. They collaborate with the reptiles and the Cabal. Rashell, according to your negotiations with the US government, who is above the pyramid? I do not see fit to publish that information at this time. I understand. Thanks, Rashell. The Earth is dominated by these races. Is there some kind of treaty for which the Earth has lost all its sovereignty? There are many treaties. Some are thousands of years old. New treaties were made in the 1930s by Nazi Germany and in the 1950s by the Americans, also under Nazi control. In the 50s, Eisenhower made a treaty to exchange technology for freedom to exploit the human population, abductions and experiments, among other things. That is to say that Eisenhower was part of the Cabal. Sincerely, we still do not understand his role inside the Cabal, because on the one hand, he seems to be inside with them, but on the other one, he also seems to have alerted the population and the government of Cabal's problems and dangers. Yes, it was he who made that treaty, although the Nazis had also done it by 1937. Well, if he signed this treaty, there are no excuses for this. Yes, unfortunately, it was he who accepted it. At this point, how do you want to move forward with the subject? Well, we could ask you more about the Eisenhower, or I would prefer to ask more about the current situation related to the liberation of the Earth. Because Eisenhower, that's the past in some sense, and maybe we can talk about it later. Okay, although everything is intrinsically related. In this case, explain this relation, please, if you wish. I do not understand much about politics, and I am sure that's the reason why I do not see the links between things like you do. It's okay. Let's go little by little and in parts. Okay, then, let's return to the beginning, before Eisenhower. You have arrived in 1952. And what happened? What was your discovery and how have you assessed the situation on Earth? At that time, an alert was received from the entire Federation because of what happened since the Second World War, specifically because of the detonation of nuclear weapons. It is known that a nuclear detonation passes or affects several existential dimensions or planes at the same time. It is termed here scalar, but it can differ in meaning on Earth. The races that are most similar to the human race have always been closer, intervening more than those that are not. Therefore, it was up to Taygeta. Upon examining the situation from the orbit, we tried to send 2 crews of hunting ships called Sandcloak to the 30s to stop the Nazi development that triggered the Second World War and the development of nuclear weapons. The Sandcloak crews went from 1952 to 1937 and interacted with the Nazis. Time travel? Yes, the hunting ships with Sandcloak capacity travel in time. Look at this video. That's us. Maria Orsic is Taygetan? Yes. Once again, the true story has been distorted, and it seems like we collaborate with them, the Nazis. When we are trying to divert the events, we try to alter the history. Are these drawings or photos? They are drawings from photos. Maria Orsic was actually Savia of Era. I do not think I'm in those photos there, although I was there. She was the leader of the expedition. And yes, it was possible to stop the progress of the German investigations on nuclear bombs. The advancement of the Nazi heavy water laboratories was halted. So the mission was successful. Svaru always said that the collective timeline cannot be changed. Partially successful. And the mission was only partially successful and not totally successful for reasons later explained by Svaru of Era, also a fighter pilot with sandclog qualifications. But the mission was necessary. It was necessary to intervene and infiltrate the German society of the time. And with our appearance, it was not difficult. Just you or many more Taygetans? 2 crews of 7, 14 in total, 2 ships, men and women. How long have you stayed? And 3D didn't affect you? We did not stay for more than 2 weeks, and we were going back, only to come back again. The 3D hurts us. We cannot be there long without getting sick. It must be disgusting and toxic to be here, right? How does it feel to be in 3D coming from 5D? It feels doughy all over. You feel sick and slow. The gravity is very strong and makes you feel very weak. Everything smells, everything affects you. The energy is very low. It feels like walking in water up to your thighs. You walk with difficulty. You need a lot of recovery and sleep after being in 3D only for a short time. And it affects you mentally. It is depressing. It lowers the vibration. You can start to manifest negative things because of it. The rhythm of history would have changed a lot without your intervention. According to Svaru, the result would be the same if the Germans had the bomb first, because Germany lost the war, but the Nazi won. They only emigrated to the United States. Okay, and how have you managed to do this intervention despite all the laws of non-interferences? What did the Federation say in this case? The Federation accepted the intervention of the sandclog crews in the 30s up to the year 45 because it was only a surgical mission. And the legal justification for the intervention was based on stopping the use of nuclear energy in general, not only for war purposes. This cancelled many subsections of non-intervention and is the primary cause of the mass arrival of the Federation from the year 52 on. Nuclear energy in human hands is the basis of what keeps us here until these days. Okay, thank you. I would like to know if we can share all this, Rashell. You are welcome. Yes, everything can be shared, unless we agree otherwise about one or another topic. If you want to share about who I am, I must give you another piece of information that will be interesting to you. I am half Taygetan by mother and half ARIEN by father. I was born in Temmer, but both cultures are mine. ARIEN, and how are they? What is the difference between them and Taygetans? Unlike many other races, ARIEN can procreate with Taygeta. Very few can. We are basically the same race. Only Taygetans are mostly blonde in appearance and have blue or green eyes. ARIENs usually have dark hair, very white skin, and mostly green eyes. And everything that describes Taygeta also applies to ARIEN. The differences are small. That's why they are compatible. My hair is dark brown, my skin is white, and my eyes are green. I am 1 meter 60 centimeters tall. I see myself as a 25-year-old woman as a reference. And I was born in the terrestrial year calculated of 1832 on May 20th. How nice. I identify a lot with people with white skin and dark hair, more than blondes. Svaru told us, without saying it openly, that here humans are not very handsome. Your DNA is not fully activated. You are a caricature of your true physique that would be the correct interpretation of your creative intention as souls to incarnate. Also, most of the humans are sick and age there as a consequence of the linear perception of time. We are walking caricatures, what a pity. Well, it is what it is. What's important is accepting our shortcomings here. There is no other way. And to know that we are more, and that this is just our temporary suit. Svaru says it's part of the experience, of the teaching that comes from being there. Yes, we experience being ugly and defective. She said it's for the contrast too, to have the experience of becoming complete afterwards. It's true, yes. Rashell, how do you feel talking to us? Tired? Svaru gets tired sometimes talking to many people at once. No, I find you very nice, and I feel a lot of familiarity. I was tense yesterday, but not anymore. If you want, we'll leave it for today, Rashell, and no worries, you can always share anything with us. We are very open and tolerant, and no longer so nervous talking to you. We feel as if talking to a friend. Svaru tried everything at once and mostly succeeded, like interacting simultaneously with 3 or 4 different people and doing it with only one eye. Poor thing. Well, see you again on Sunday, yes? And thanks for being with us. It was a pleasure talking to you. Bye, Rashell. Likewise. Have a rest and good night to both. Bye.